So hello students, welcome back to the online lecture series for RCC. In today's lecture we will study about doubly reinforced section by WSM. In previous video I have cleared all the doubts regarding the singly reinforced section by WSM and the types of problems which comes for the same. Okay, so let's start. So first of all, what is a doubly reinforced section? Okay, so a doubly reinforced section is a section, as the word defines, that in which the main steel is provided in tension as well as the compression zone. Okay, as per the definition, if main reinforcement which resists the bending moment or that provide the moment of resistance is provided in tension zone as well as in the compression zone, then the beam is known as a doubly reinforced section. As you can see in the figure below, that the steel is provided in the tension which is having an area of AST, and also there is a steel which is provided at the compression zone whose area is ASC. Here ASC stands for area of steel in compression. Okay, and the cover provided for compression steel is DC, and the effective depth is small d, and the cover provided for tensile steel is D dash. I have mentioned here DC is effective cover from compression side, D dash is effective cover from tension side, ASC is area of steel in compression, and AST is area of steel in tension. So these are the notations which we'll be using for analysis of a doubly reinforced section. So first of all, the question arises that why do we need a doubly reinforced section? So there are generally three reasons here. Due to the headroom constraint, means when the dimensions or the cross section of the section is restricted or fixed, means B and D are constant. Small b and capital D are constant, which comprises the total area of the section. Secondly, if the bending moment is more than the moment of resistance of balance section, means when the bending moment that is coming on the section is greater than the moment of resistance of the balance section. And third one, which is very important, that section is over reinforced. When the section become over reinforced, so as we have already discussed in previous lectures, that we will not prefer the over reinforced section because the failure in that section is sudden. The failure is from the compression side, that is concrete side, and its failure is sudden or brittle. So the design is not permitted. So there are two alternatives in this. First is we redesign the section, means we change dimension, that is B and D, but as we have already discussed in the first point, that due to the headroom constraint we have to construct that beam as a doubly reinforced beam. And secondly, alternative is design a doubly reinforced beam. So we will prefer this second alternative for designing a doubly reinforced beam. So there are some assumptions because we are doing this analysis by the WSM method. So there are some assumptions here for the analysis of singly reinforced beam are same. First is that the section remains plane before and after bending. Second one is that all the tension is taken by steel and all the compression is taken by concrete. Third one was the bond between steel and concrete was perfect. We will proceed for the analysis part. First of all, for analysis, like we have done for singly reinforced beam, we will make the cross section of the beam. We will provide the cross section to the beam. So we have mentioned here, like it is having an overall depth of capital D and a width of small b. Area provided for steel in tension is AST and area provided for steel in compression is ASC. So for analysis we have to convert the section into a homogeneous or a transform section. So we have converted this section in equivalent or transform section in terms of concrete. So the steel which was provided in the tension zone was transformed as MAST, but now we have steel provided in compression zone also, so we have to transform that also. So for that the modular ratio becomes modified. It is 1.5 times M. So 1.5 M ASC. Now we will draw that strain diagram and stress diagram. Strain diagram for part lower than neutral axis remains same as singly reinforced, but there are some changes in the compression zone. So EC dash is the strain in equivalent concrete at end of level of compression steel, but we have another steel provided which is now transformed in terms of concrete, so there is a strain also which is termed as EC. And similarly the stress diagram remains same below the neutral axis as singly reinforced beam, but there are some changes in the compression zone. Sigma CBC is the permissible stress of concrete at compression zone, but there is a new term here which is sigma C dash. Here sigma C dash is stress in equivalent concrete at the level of compression steel. So we have to draw this type of section for analysis part. So there is a note here. First of all, important note is that the value of modular ratio, that is M, in compression steel whose area was ASC, is modified. Modified, how much modified? It is 1.5 M to take care of the creep and shrinkage effect of the concrete. Secondly, the creep is always counted at surface load or service load. So the creep will be due to the load which was provided. Third one is creep occurs due to the self-weight, because creep can occur due to self-weight also. And creep is time dependent deformation, means it increases with time. So let's move for the analysis part. So first of all, for analysis we have to calculate the critical neutral axis depth, that was denoted by N suffix C. So as you can see from the stress diagram, that the critical neutral axis depth remains same as it was provided for single reinforced beam, because as you all know that critical neutral axis depth is the depth which is for the balance section, means both the permissible stresses are obtained at same point. So sigma ST by M and sigma CBC are obtained at these points, and when we will join this portion or this depth becomes NC, which is termed as critical neutral axis. So it is derived by same procedure, means similar triangle property. So sigma CBC upon NC equals to sigma ST by M whole upon D minus NC. So this whole term becomes NC equal to KD, where K was constant whose value was M sigma CBC whole upon M sigma CBC plus sigma ST. So this is neutral axis depth coefficient. So this is same like singly reinforced section, but now when we will move for the calculation of actual neutral axis depth, that is NA, the condition changes a little bit. So what is actual neutral axis? It is depth of actual neutral axis, which is calculated by moment of area about a neutral axis in equivalent cross sectional area of concrete. So we equate the moment of area on both sides of neutral axis. So this is first part and this is second part. We will equate both 1 and 2. So as you can see here that I'm highlighting this portion, that this part BNA into NA by 2 and this part which is on the right hand side the equation, this is same as the singly reinforced section, but now this part is added for doubly reinforced section. So what is this? Basically it is the moment of area which was provided for the steel in compression zone. And why are we subtracting this value? Because this is the area which was covered by steel, but due to transform section this area is not considered here for analysis part. So this is subtracted from this particular total area. So here 1.5 MASC into NA minus DC. So this part is a total moment of area of steel provided in compression. But as we are analyzing this part for a transform section, so steel is now replaced by concrete. There was some vacant space due to steel which is not considered here. So minus ASC into NA minus DC. So this whole term after solving becomes BNA square by 2 plus 1.5 M minus 1 into ASC into NA minus DC. We have taken ASC NA minus DC common here equal to MAST D minus NA. Only a little change here for doubly reinforced section. So after this we will calculate the lever arm, okay, which is denoted by Z. So lever arm is the distance between resultant compressive force and resultant tensile force, so where all the resultant force acts. So as you can see from this particular stress strain diagram, that resultant force below neutral axis, that is for steel provided in tension, is same like we have provided for singly reinforced section, but there are some changes in the compression zone because we have added extra steel in the compression zone. So there are two forces which are acting. First of all, one is C1 and second is C2. C1 is compression force due to steel which is provided at the compression zone, and secondly C2 is compressive force due to concrete because there is concrete also. So the total force above neutral axis will be C1 plus C2. So here the neutral axis depth, or you can say that lever arm depth, changes for both the forces, that is C1 and C2. So we will discuss this. Here Y1, here you can see that Y1 equal to DC. Basically this step, this is Y1 equal to DC and Y2 equal to NA by 3. This depth, it is NA by 3. So the resulting compressive force, as I've already told you, that C equal to C1 plus C2. So the position of resultant compressive force from top, Y bar will be equal to C1 Y1 plus C2 Y2 whole upon C1 plus C2. So now we will calculate the moment of resistance for the doubly reinforced section. So the moment of resistance for this will be compressive force into lever arm. This is the moment of resistance above neutral axis. So lever arm is denoted by Z and total compression force is capital C. So this capital C comprises of C1 plus C2 and lever arm is D minus Y bar. Here Y bar is this term. MR becomes C1 LA1 plus C2 LA2. So LA here defines for lever arm depth. As I have told you that the lever arm changes for steel provided in compression and concrete provided in compression because the placement distance is different for both. So here C1, that is compression force, equal to sigma C dash, here sigma C dash into 1.5 M minus 1 into ASC. C1 is this, and the LA1, that is lever arm 1 for the force C1 is D minus D dash, and C2 is 1 by 2 sigma CBC B into NA. This is same like we have provided for singly reinforced section, and LA2 is same like D minus NA by 3. So the total moment of resistance here becomes sigma C dash into 1.5 M ASC D minus DC, means this whole term is C1 and this whole term is LA1, and this similarly this whole term is C2 and this term is LA2. So the moment of resistance becomes sigma C dash into 1.5 M minus 1 ASC D minus DC plus 1 by 2 sigma CBC P into NA into D minus NA by 3. So the total moment will be calculated using this formula. Okay, here sigma C dash is the stress induced in the steel in compression. So that's all for today. Take care, be safe.